My parents gave my room to my stepsister, and she destroyed a wall trying to one-up me. Now she's paralyzed, and they expect me to give up everything again. I'm 17. When Dad married Linda 2 years ago, her daughter Harper immediately wanted my bedroom. The one with the bay window overlooking the garden, the room where my mom and I spent an entire weekend painting clouds on the ceiling when I was 8. She'd stand on the ladder while I handed her brushes, and we'd laugh when paint dripped on our hair. That room held every memory I had of her before the cancer took her when I was 10. Harper walked in during the house tour and said it should be hers because pink was her favorite color. Dad pulled me aside that night and asked if I'd consider taking the basement instead. He said it would help everyone adjust better, and besides, the basement was twice the size. I could make it into something really special. I looked at his tired, hopeful face and agreed. I spent 4 months transforming that basement. Painted the concrete walls a soft gray, built floor-to-ceiling shelves for my books, hung string lights across the exposed beams, installed a projector on one wall for movie nights, found a vintage rug at a thrift store that tied everything together. I even convinced Dad to help me add a small window well so I could get natural light. My friends started asking if they could hang out there instead of their own houses. They'd take pictures and post them, saying it was the coolest room they'd ever seen. Harper saw those posts. Her face would go dark every time someone complimented my space. She got Dad to fund upgrade after upgrade for my old room. New furniture, expensive LED strips that sync to music, a ring light set up for her videos. Linda pushed Dad to put everything on his credit card, saying Harper deserved to feel special too, but nothing was ever enough. Harper would bring her friends upstairs, give them a tour, then march them down to my basement. She'd stand in the doorway with her arms crossed, saying things like, "This is what I mean. I'm stuck in a tiny bedroom while she has basically an entire apartment." Her friends would awkwardly compliment both spaces, but Harper would just get angrier. The complaints got worse. At dinner, she'd bring up square footage. She'd measure her closet and announce it was half the size of mine. Linda would jump in, asking Dad why one daughter got so much more than the other. Dad would try to explain that I'd done all the work myself, that Harper had gotten thousands in upgrades, but it never mattered. 3 months ago, we had a family wedding 2 hours away. Harper woke up that morning, clutching her stomach, saying she had food poisoning. Linda wanted to stay home with her, but Harper insisted she'd be fine alone. She said she'd just sleep it off. I remember watching her wave from the window as we pulled out of the driveway. Something about her smile seemed off, but I didn't think much of it. We were at the reception when Dad's phone rang. The neighbors had called 911 after hearing a massive crash and seeing dust pouring from our second floor windows. We left immediately, Dad doing 80 the whole way home. By the time we arrived, 3 cop cars and an ambulance were outside. The paramedics were loading Harper onto a stretcher, and her neck was in a brace. She'd taken a sledgehammer to the wall between my old bedroom and the guest room. She wanted to combine them into one massive space, but that wall was load-bearing. The entire ceiling collapsed on her within minutes. The support beam came down directly on her upper spine. She was pinned there, conscious and screaming, for nearly 4 hours before the neighbors heard her. The doctor said she'd never move anything below her neck again. She needs a ventilator to breathe, around-the-clock care, medical equipment that takes up an entire room, the only space in our house big enough for all of it, my basement. So now I'm sleeping in the garage. It's cold, cramped, and smells like oil. Harper got the room she wanted after all, just not the way she imagined. Linda cries every day, saying if I'd just been willing to share my bedroom from the start, none of this would have happened. Dad doesn't say much anymore, just stares at the medical bills piling up on the kitchen counter. I visit Harper sometimes, sit next to her bed while machines beep and hiss. She can't talk because of the ventilator, but she can move her eyes. Linda bought her one of those tablets that tracks eye movement so she can type. Last week, Harper used it to write me a message. "This is your fault." I didn't respond, just sat there looking at my old shelves, now covered in medical supplies. Yesterday morning, 2 detectives showed up at our door asking to speak with Dad and Linda privately. When they left, Dad called me into the living room with this strange look on his face. The police had examined Harper's laptop as part of the insurance investigation. They found her search history from the week before the collapse. How to safely demolish a wall. Does homeowner's insurance cover structural damage? What happens if you knock down the wrong wall? And average insurance payout for accidental home damage. She planned the entire thing, thinking Dad's insurance would just fix whatever went wrong. Now I'm filling out college applications for schools 3 states away.